Hey, welcome to the Otherz podcast. I am your host, Stephen Penny, coming all the way from Helsinki, Finland. Joining me, as always, my co-host, David Travis, all the way from New York. What's up, David?
What is going on, everybody? Hope everyone's having a good month so far. What's up, Steve?
All good here, all good here. Getting ready for Christmas.
Let me tell you something. I am getting ready for the holidays, and what I need everyone to do right now is if you guys have any ice creams that are for sale, just don't let me know because I'm spending too much money on that so far already in the month of December. So we're going to X that out right now. So if you have any ice creams for sale, stop sending them. Stop sending me DMs about it.
But if they are for sale and they're at cheap, then DM me.
Yeah, Penny needs some.
I'll take them. I'll always take them. And if you're feeling really generous with it being Christmas and all that, then do feel free to just send them my way. I'm always happy with that as well.
Yeah, we got to stay together. You know what I'm saying? So
I need to build up that collection. I need to catch up.
That was a reference, by the way. Stay together.
Oh yeah, there we go. Number one, ding ding ding,
ding ding ding. So,
all right. Well, let's start with I think firstly just feedback from the first sort of trial episode that we put out a week or two back, and just a massive thanks to firstly everyone that listened, and then everyone that got in touch with myself and David via email, comments on the website. I had some comments today, in fact, DMs all over the place. My Instagram has never been so busy and so popular.
I gotta tell you, I was very, very happy on the response that we got from everyone. That was the second reference, by the way. No more. Anyway, I was very happy about the responses that we got. I'm not gonna lie, I did not know that all that was gonna happen. So thank you to everyone that's been positive about everything. We've been getting nothing but positive feedback. So definitely thank you to everyone that's been listening. And me and Penny are going to take this to the next level right now. That's all I got to say. We are not fronting, so.
No comment. Just to reiterate that, a big thank you. I didn't expect to get so many messages and things like that from everybody. I'm not going to try and remember any of the people that messaged me or you.
There's been so many.
There's been countless.
Oh my gosh.
Even people that I'd never interacted with before, that I think followed mutual followers of ours, got in touch and stuff like that. So, really positive response. Thanks for all the feedback. Keep it coming. And where possible, if you can, share the podcast on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or wherever you hang out, then do that as well, because that's how we get the listeners, and that's how more people find out about this, and that's how we'll grow this and hopefully be able to bring you bigger and better things over the coming weeks and months.
And not for nothing, Penny, you've been really pushing the shit out of this, man. So thank you to you too, man. You've been going crazy on this, so that's awesome. So big shout out to if I had a clapping button, I would say big shout out to Penny. He definitely is pushing this thing to the next level, man. So
thank you.
That's for you.
But I've got nothing else to do in my life, so I've got to occupy myself with something.
So what are we talking about today, man? What's going on?
We're going to ease our way into this whole video review type thing that we've talked about doing. We're not going to start with a Pharrell or N.E.R.D track, but we're going to go right back to 98. And we're going to start with Superthug by Noreaga. Beast of a track. And I think this is probably the first Neptunes track that I was aware of. I don't think I knew it was a Neptunes track back at the time, but this is kind of one that I remember from all those years back.
Let me tell you, everybody knows that was the starting point, at least for the mainstream audience for the Neptunes. Huge. That song was huge.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think a couple of years before that, you had SWV and Total, and you had the Mace track as well. And obviously Mace was kind of hot around that time. I'm not a fan of that Looking at Me track, actually.
Oof, I love that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that song is. I think that song is highly underrated.
the hook annoys me. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it just annoys me. I've never really gotten into it.
It's puffy.
I should maybe go back and listen to it again at some point. But I think like '98 was kind of the year that I think things really took off for the Neptunes as a kind of production duo, just working by themselves. You got the early Clip stuff, Brand Nubian, Praz, the Locks, and then obviously the Noreaga stuff as well.
It's crazy because, as I was telling you before, Noreaga's from Queens, so we were always a fan of his, mainstream stuff, but he had a lot of underground stuff that, a lot of people haven't heard. So we were already following him from the very beginning. When Superthug came out, it was something different, on many levels. It was a simple beat. It wasn't anything crazy, but yet, in the clubs and everything, it definitely hit hard. It was one of those that that was just, wait a minute, because back then it was a lot of the Puffy and the Locks, and that was the whole Rough Riders. So when you heard something like that from just that one person, it was like, holy shit, what is this? And I think a lot of people were driven to that just because of the beat from the beginning. So
for sure, and that beat is, like you say, it's simple. It's got that kind of guitar riff that goes all the way through it, but it's instant. There was nothing. I don't think there was anything else around at that time that sounded like that. It's just instantly you can recognize it. And now you look back at it, and it's a classic Neptunes sound. That guitar,
100%. And
you've got the very early kind of like doo 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 kind of sounds in there, and
that was that Pharrell signature, like, that was awesome. It blows my mind for that. It was crazy.
Yeah, there's a few of them sort of layered in there at sort of a slightly lower level. And I kind of went back today and like watched the video over a few times, and just because I haven't seen the video itself in years and years. It pops up now and again on YouTube, I think, when I'm sort of scrolling through stuff, but I actually went back and watched it properly. And and I kind of picked the track because obviously it is that early Neptunes. There is that Queen's kind of link that there as well with 100%. Yourself. But also just the song in itself, I think there's still a lot of it's like a classic track, but it's also a slightly strange track in terms of like lyrically. Mm-hmm. Now a lot of the lyrics over the years have been kind of cleared up and talked about, but when you actually recite those lyrics back to yourself, it still sounds like really, really strange, even like straight off the bat, where you've got how does it go? We light a candle, run laps around the English Channel. Neptunes have got a Cocker Spaniel. It's just like, what the fuck does that even mean? It's like, and lyrically throughout the thing, it's like, I like N.E.R.D. He's not the cleverest of wordsmiths, let's say. But this is, just lyrically, it's a lot. It's like that a lot of the way through the track.
Even if you look at the video itself, they didn't have, they were like, all right, you know what? We're just going to go to the desert. We're just going to go to the desert, and we're just going to just shoot a video. Now, were they really in the desert? Probably. I don't know. But, like, you didn't see things done at that time like that. A lot of people were showing the cars and the flashy girls and the money. Some of that was definitely in the video, but it was a different take on it.
I was going to say, it gets that way as they go through.
As they goes through the video.
Yeah. So talking about the video directed by Chris Robinson, and the track itself will, just give you the quick stats. 36 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the US. Fuck knows where in Europe. Probably nowhere in any of the charts.
You think?
I don't know. It probably got in there somewhere, but I've got no idea. And I wasn't going to sort of search around the internet trying to find out. And then number 1 on the Billboard Hot Rap Singles.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have that kind of chart thing in the US where you have the overall Hot 100, whatever you
and then we break it down.
And you break it all down by genre and stuff. Yeah. So at least it got to number 1 somewhere at least.
And let me tell you, me being from Queens, N.E.R.D being from Queens, we heard that a lot on Hot 97. Over here, we have Hot 97 in New York. And that was being played on Hot 97 the song would end and then it would start up again, and then the song would end and it would start up again, and you knew it was a big deal when Funk Flex is dropping bombs all over the song. You would hear the helicopter, Jackson here, what? And you just kept hearing the bombs and Pharrell and the bombs, and it was awesome. So us being like a part of that whole thing in Queens was a big deal, because a lot of the times, you don't hear a lot of the rappers from Queens, really making it. You had the Run DMC, but it wasn't, in the 90s, there really wasn't somebody that was taking over from our borough. And N.E.R.D was just, the fact that he linked up with the Neptunes, it was a big deal. So props to N.E.R.D on that, though. Seriously. He's the man.
Yeah, for sure. And just kind of looking back at some of the older interviews around this track and him talking about how he linked up with the Neptunes, there were a lot of people telling him not to do it. So I saw him a quote from him. He talked about Big Tigger telling him not to work with them because the beats were all a bit samey and had a sort of similar sound. And there was someone else that was telling him like not to jump on any tracks with them and stuff.
Yeah, they were deemed like weirdos, and it's funny. After that song had dropped and it became famous and popular, a lot of people wanted that sound for their own song. I remember hearing like ODB and Ludacris saying like, we want Superthug, we want that type of beat. So that was almost like a staple in the hip hop community, which was huge, because like you were saying, a lot of people were telling them don't do it, and they did it, and look what happened. And the song still knocks today.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say it's definitely, besides Banned from TV, it's definitely one of N.E.R.D's top 3 songs in my opinion.
Most definitely. And even playing it back earlier on, I had some headphones on, and I just kind of caught myself just sat here just completely oblivious to the video, which I was meant to be watching and taking notes about, and just getting back into that song again. And that says a lot for a track that came out in 20 odd years ago. We're talking about now. Man,
are we that old?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
I was in high school when that song came out. I might have been in the 10th grade, and hearing it, I remember this is probably one of the easiest songs to play on the piano. I remember listening to that like, oh wow, this is so simple. But simplicity went a long way with that, 100%. And I remember hearing it saying, man, it's that guy from Queens, he lived in Left Rack. That's the housing complex in Queens. It's called Left Rack. And then, everybody had their own buildings. It was Iraq and Shire, all that stuff. And we didn't believe there was a dude from Queens partnering up with, then the Neptunes. It was crazy. So, like you said, listening to it now makes me want to just bring it back. I don't play it a lot at parties and stuff, but I think I'm going to hop on that. I got to get it edited first.
You need the clean version.
We got to get the clean version.
Drop that into a Christmas party somewhere.
Yeah, I can see us ending a party at an old folks home with that. All right, Superthug, last song of the night. Jackson here, what?
So if we go back to like the kind of premise of the video, as you say, it doesn't really tie into the song at all in any way. The song's just quite braggy, and it's kind of a typical standard hip hop sort of song lyrically. But the premise of the video is they seem to have escaped from prison. There's him, 2 guys he's with. They're in like jumpsuits in the desert. Somehow they've obviously been arrested and imprisoned in the Middle East somewhere, or North Africa, or wherever it may be. Fuck knows how and why, but that's where they are.
Right.
They look like they've escaped. They're going across the sand dunes with a map of some kind. They come across some nomads in the desert, as you do. And then those nomads kind of give them some clothing, take them to a house of some kind, and then suddenly they're just living the dream.
Like it's funny. Later on in life, when I went back to watch it, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Was that Chad? I didn't even recognize him in the video. I'm like, wait a minute. Who's that guy with the glasses on right there? Not knowing it was his, his partner Chad, but did anybody else recognize that the first time around? Like, wait a minute, that's Chad over there.
I double-taked earlier when I rewatched it, and I knew they were in the video, but I couldn't quite remember exactly where. And yeah, you see him from sort of the left-hand side come across. He's wearing that like green kind of coloured Hawaiian shirt, and you're like, oh yeah, shit, that's Chad there, yeah. And you got Pharrell on the other side with the big like yellow glasses that he was sort of wearing at the time quite a lot.
It's a sign of the times. Yeah. Now, Penny, did you know? I'm sure a lot of people maybe that did not know this, but the song is there's an interpolation in it, where it's Blondie's "A Heart of Glass."
On the Pharrell hook.
On the Pharrell hook, yeah. So that's just so you know, interpolation is where they take not the beat, but just the lyrics, and they kind of use it as, you know, something as their own twist. It was also done in Nelly's "Hot in Here." But we'll talk about that another time. But yeah, that's "A Heart of Glass" from Blondie.
Classic song.
That was another reason why I liked it. And me being a DJ, to be honest with you, every time that part comes up, we try to mix it in with Blondie. It doesn't really work, but
no, because it has like the same melody, doesn't it? But obviously the lyrics are quite different.
Oh, so, different.
Yeah. That was actually on my list of notes. Yeah, to mention that part. So you beat me to it.
That was that was pretty crazy. You know, us being DJs and stuff, we hear that right away. As soon as that's from this song, that's from that song, and it actually went with the song. It went with the song. Same thing happened on "Let's Get Blown." Snoop's first verse. Looking at the ladies, all of them fly. Same thing. That's another interpolation, but I guess we'll talk about that on podcast 15 or something.
That's on the list. Yep, it's there somewhere.
Yeah. So, do you remember where you were when you first heard the song?
Oh man, no idea. I couldn't tell you. It's just one of those that I just have memories of hearing, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, when I was about the same age as you. Well, I'm a year older maybe, so just kind of coming out of high school and starting to go to clubs and stuff like that. And yeah, I do remember hearing it at clubs. So it would have been like the late 90s, and as you say, like DJs just playing it, then just playing it again, and that just guitar intro just sort of on loop almost all the time.
How is it perceived over where you are? Was it huge? Was it
Not huge, just because hip hop wasn't as kind of commercial or as popular as it is now. Well, not just in the UK, but across the globe. Like in the UK, there were hip hop clubs and stuff, and the late 90s, it was just starting to become popular, or very popular. But yeah, it wasn't until like the early sort of 2000s when it really sort of picked up, which kind of ties in with a lot of the Neptunes working themselves. You look at, I think it was 2002 maybe, when he was doing they were doing like "I'm a Slave for You" and tracks like that, and
for Britney Spears, right?
Yeah, and I think there's some stats. I think it's similar in the US, where on the main radio stations, the sort of national ones. So in the UK, it's like Radio 1. Like it was something like 40% of the tracks being played throughout the day were Neptunes produced. Some ridiculous number like that.
Yeah, I think it was 44% maybe.
Yeah, I'll have to dig that stat out, but
that's crazy.
It's something stupid like that. And you think, obviously there are playlists for radio stations and they play a lot of the same stuff between, across the different shows, but to have 40-odd% of the tracks throughout a day
via Neptunes
just from a production duo is ridiculous.
A lot of the times when people ask me about, how come I think the Neptunes is one of the greatest, producing team ever, I always bring up that stat because I don't think it's ever been done before, to be honest with you. To have out of 10 songs on the radio, almost 5 of them are produced by that team. That's huge.
Yeah. I can imagine if you go back a few years to the 80s and you look at like when Thriller was out and stuff.
Yeah, well, say Quincy Jones.
And you obviously like just had back-to-back Michael Jackson stuff like all day, and Quincy Jones just killing it. Then you probably had that then, and maybe go back to some Motown stuff where you had a lot of the same producers working on a lot of the same stuff, maybe. But if you look at the radio now, like you'd never get a producer now, no matter how big they were, just banging out that many tracks that are that popular to be just played in constant rotation day in, day out.
And it's crazy because they had a lot of tracks that they did not release. So I can only imagine, and some of their unreleased stuff is even better than their released stuff, but I can only imagine if that stuff was brought on to the table, how much more of the percentage would have been on the radio. Now let me ask you, was Superthug, I could be making this up, was there a unreleased version of that, like a early version that was released? I could have sworn I heard it. It was almost like a rough edition. Like a demo.
Yeah, possibly. I'd have to go through. I've got like a discography here, a couple of discographies of like all the Neptune stuff, including like demos and unreleased.
If anybody has that, please send it to my way, seriously, because I could have sworn I've heard one. I could be making it up, but please send that my way if there's a demo version. I like to collect that type of those things from Pharrell. It makes playing the piano on it a little bit more interesting. So, and I think Janet Jackson also sampled Superthug.
Yeah, so it never got released though.
Right.
So it was, I can't remember the name of the album, but it was actually a Neptunes produced track for one of her albums where they resampled the Superthug beat, but it never actually made the cut, if I remember correctly.
Superthug is if I had to put up 5 songs that changed the music world that came out with the Neptunes on it, it would definitely be, that's definitely in top 5, along with obviously Grindin', What Happened to That Boy. You know, Superthug is definitely up there, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a hot beat when, again, I think I'd heard this story before, but I saw it again, reading some stuff earlier. But it's a hot beat when Michael Jackson wants to jump on it. When you've already laid down the vocals. So N.E.R.D tells this story in an interview where they've done the track. I think the album may be out already because this was the second single off of the N.E.R.D album. So I think the album is already out there. From what I can remember of the story, he's just chilling. Pharrell actually calls him and he's like, what's up? And Pharrell's like, yeah, that beat we've sold you and we've made that song for, Michael Jackson wants to actually take that and jump on it.
I totally forgot about that, man. Wow.
But then those are weird Michael Jackson times, because that is around the same time when he also passed up on his people passed up on all of the Justified
the
stuff
Justin Timberlake joints.
Yeah.
Was it Senorita or Like I Love You?
It was actually most of them were written with Michael in mind, because there'd been, I think, talks between the camps that the Neptunes were going to do some stuff, and there were a couple that were definitely specifically for him. But again, from the memory I have of interviews and stuff that I've read, they kind of made some demos of all of them and sent them over, and the Jackson camp said, sorry, we're actually going in a different direction with what we're doing.
What a bad mistake. Let me tell you, that's almost like Adidas passing up Jordan.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a Michael Jackson, Pharrell, Neptunes track? I'm already a Michael Jackson fan already.
Yeah.
So Michael Jackson on let's say Michael Jackson on Like I Love You and that dance routine, that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, exactly. That would have killed it.
Justin did his thing, but Michael Jackson on that would have been crazy. Even Michael Jackson on Superthug. Can y'all imagine Michael Jackson on Superthug?
I don't know what they do with that, because that beat goes like so hard. Is he just going to sing over the whole thing, or?
I don't know. It's like a hard beat. That's a rapping.
Yeah.
That's a rapping song. You can't be like, in the Philippines. You can't be doing that. It's just not happening. For this Mike, he would have killed it. I know he would have. We all would have been buying it.
Oh yeah, definitely. It
would have been like Super Bubbles or something. It would have been called. Mike would have killed that. Michael Jackson's my dude. Leave him alone.
Love Michael. Here's a random story of my love for Michael Jackson. We're going off on a tangent again now, as I think we probably will do on every podcast we record.
They like
But
that.
yeah, but like my I don't think my mum ever saw Michael Jackson, but my mum was a huge fan, so I grew up with Michael Jackson. But my auntie was an even bigger fan of Michael Jackson, and she saw him a few times in London and had like
Lucky.
the original vinyls. And when I was a little kid, she gave me some of the tour merchandise and stuff, and I don't know where it's gone, but it was a long, long time ago. So I obviously love Michael Jackson. And then when I lived in Australia, that's when they announced the "This Is It" kind of tour, or whatever we were calling it, where he was going to do the 30 odd shows at the O2 in London.
Mm-hmm.
So being the nut that I am, the idiot that I am, I actually bought a number of tickets, and I was going to fly from Australia back to London the day before the gig, stay with a friend, see the gig, and then fly back to Australia.
What happened?
Just so I could see him.
That is, man. Let me tell you, that was because he had what was that in like 2009? But I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. It goes in this order. Number 3 is Pharrell, 2 is Jamiroquai, and 1 is Michael Jackson. So I was trying to get tickets to This Is It too. Obviously, it never happened. But he had a show here in 2001 that I tried to get tickets to, and I saw the price of the tickets, and that was the end of that. So sorry, Mike.
Yeah,
not happening.
It was one of those things where, yeah, like they're obviously billing it as his last tour, and whether it would have been, I don't know, but yeah, I was kind of determined to get back and see him no matter what. So yeah, I bought the tickets and was just literally like, only an absolute idiot flies literally from one side of the planet to the other,
crazy Michael Jackson fan,
and then goes back again a couple of days later. But funnily enough, when I moved house last week or the week before, whenever it was, I actually found the original tickets for that gig.
Did you?
Because obviously he died, and I can't remember who it was promoting it. Was it AEG or somebody?
AEG.
Yeah, they did a thing whereby obviously they would refund people's tickets, but if you want to keep them as like commemorative items, you could do that. So I think I sent one back and got a refund, but I kept one and then also ordered some of the tour merchandise which they'd already produced. So I've got like a couple of t-shirts like still in the packaging and stuff, and I've got the ticket there still.
You gotta show me that one day.
Yeah, I need to get that framed and get it up on a wall and stuff.
I told myself I would definitely go see Michael Jackson when I got older, but unfortunately, sooner or later, it all came crashing down. So that didn't happen. So sorry, Mike, but things are getting better. So
damn, what number are we on now?
I don't know. I've been killing it so far.
Oof.
I really been. I'm the perfect defect, bro. I really am.
Oh God,
I'm going in.
All right, let's.
So we've
gone off on a wild tangent now. Let's try and rein ourselves back in. So where should we go? Yeah, let's talk about some of the weird and wonderful lyrics on this track. I mentioned a couple of a bar earlier, which has kind of always left people slightly puzzled. And again, I looked back earlier and looked back at some interviews that N.E.R.D had done, and actually some crazy interviews around there. There was a time just after that where he fell out with Pharrell for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And he actually talks about that line, Neptunes, I got a Cocker Spaniel, about Pharrell being gay. I
heard that.
It's a really, really weird interview. The interview's from like 2005 or something. I'll try and dig out the link again later on and put it in the show notes. But he's obviously very angry at this time back in 2005, and you can tell he's kind of making the story up because none of it really ties in with what he's saying. And because he says something along the lines of, he's referring to Pharrell being gay. People from Virginia had told him Pharrell was gay. So he says he found out this information after the video shoots. Right. But that would already mean the song was already recorded,
done, right?
Yeah, so like the timelines don't really fit in. So you can see
it didn't make sense.
You can see he's just being a bit sort of angry and shitty about something that's going on. And then in later interviews, he talks about how it actually refers to a gun. He backtracks. He's challenged over his comments about Pharrell because they're obviously then back together at this later stage, recording again. And he goes back and says, I didn't really mean it. The lyrics refer to a gun, in fact. But
yeah, nice, Noreaga.
Yeah.
Real nice.
But I think just those, as we mentioned earlier, just those sort of lyrics themselves, if you put those lyrics in front of any normal, sane person, they would, I think bemused would be the right word to describe how they would feel, I think.
Because people will look at it and be like, what is going on right now? But you know what? You don't get lyrics like that today.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. I guess back then...
But we don't get lyrics now, though, do we? We get mumbling now.
You took the words right out. If I got to hear one more skr or skr, it's... I'm sorry. I know it makes it sound old, but if our parents thought the lyrics were bad back then, I don't even know what is going on half the time right now. I really don't. What are y'all talking about? What's skr?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's around now that I listen to it and I just think there's too much codeine involved in this song. I literally cannot understand a word that they are saying. And again, that is a sign that we are getting old, because I know
it definitely is.
These artists are popular. They do sell millions. They do tour the world, and times change and all that sort of stuff. But it's still just, I find it bizarre.
But when you, like you're saying, when you look back on the Superthug lyrics, you can really, if you read it, you would literally be like, what's going on right now? You would. And I guess that was, the lyrics also went with the beat, because it was almost like, what kind of song is this? You know, the beat is weird, the lyrics are weird, you know, the video was weird. You know, Pharrell and Chad both look weird with what they're wearing. It was just a weird, thing. But I guess that's what makes the song, you know?
And we've not even talked about the hook yet, which is just what over and over again, repeatedly.
What?
And again, I watched an interview earlier on YouTube of him talking about that, and he was talking about how he was in a studio with N.E.R.D and some other people, I think, and they were all quite sort of chill, and he was very, like, as he is, quite, let's say, energetic. And they were kind of like, giving him the side eye, like, who the fuck's this dude? What's up with him? And he kept saying, like, what to people. Every time they looked at him, he was like, what? And then
they made a song out of it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And they made a song out of what?
That's creativity for you.
What? Well, it's funny. For us, for some reason, the best part of the song is the intro. I don't know why.
And the intro is weird as well in itself.
Exactly. We never knew what he was saying when he was like, you found Manuel Noreaga. We never knew what he was saying. I'm like, wait, what is he saying? It wasn't until later on I was like, okay, Manuel Noreaga. But that whole thing in itself is, once again, it's weird. But that was our favorites. That was our favorite part. That's the only time you really heard the Philippines being mentioned in the song.
There is a line a bit later on where Nori said, again, this is a lyric that doesn't really actually make sense, but he says, like, yo, from New Orleans, LA, VA to Queens, the I-95, now we hit the Philippines. But it's like, you can't drive, the I-95 doesn't take you to the Philippines, my friend. I don't know, I'm not from the US, I don't know where the I-95 takes you, but I'm fairly sure it doesn't take you to Asia in any way. But
right. And when we heard that part with the Queens in it, we would always turn the radio down at that one part. Anything with Queens in it, we will always, all right, whatever. And from BA to Queens, it was. I wish I can go back to that time, and just be that David again, listening to that, because like we said before, those times they're gone. That was when the producer of the song was just as important as the lyricist on the song. Now, all right, nobody really knows who produced it, and the song is it's a one hit, and then you're good to go. That song was on, I don't know about where everyone else is from, but that song was on Hot 97 for about 10 years. Funk Flex had like 10 years worth of bombs dropping that song when we never got sick of it. And then, obviously there was nothing, that was, with that. So, the list goes on and on, man. But that was a good track. I think that it should never be overlooked. And I'm curious to see what everyone else thinks of the song too. when you guys listen to this. I definitely want to know.
Yeah, definitely. I'd recommend people go back, and there are some really shitty quality videos on YouTube, but yeah, go back and give it a watch and give it a listen, and let us know what you think as well. If there's anything that pops out, any weirdness, anything interesting.
That was like a BET, where we have over here. BET was when they actually played music videos. That was one of the videos that was always on BET. You could turn to BET any time of the night, and that was on there. You know, it'd be BET after dark, and they'd be playing Superthug. Strippers would just be stripping the Superthug. It's crazy. We got.
I think strippers still be stripping the Superthug.
Yeah, Superthug. I think you're right, honey. When you come up, we'll check it out. You guys have Superthug? I think Superthug is like I said, it's definitely on my top 5 of songs that put Neptunes where they are now. So
yeah, for sure, and certainly as we mentioned earlier, it's got to be that one that really catapulted them into that kind of commercial, getting commercial radio play and club play, and I guess putting them in front of other artists as well. I think, you know, once you produce a track like that,
right.
To be fair, like before that, obviously they're working with like Teddy Riley and Blackstreet, and who are, you know, huge in the game, and Teddy Riley massively respected. But I think once you produce a banger like that, then as you can see from the list of the next kind of few years of all the artists they work with, it just starts to kind of snowball.
And a lot of people compare it to Superthug, and like I said, when you play it, when I played on the piano, I think it's like 3 notes. So how do you make a song with 3 notes, and yet it's almost like it's so good that people want it there. You know, Ludacris, I need a Superthug. ODB, I need a Superthug. And it's 3, I think it's like 2 or 3 notes, and it does not switch up. You don't have like a great Neptunes bridge in it. It's 3 notes. And we're talking about it in 2017 still.
For sure. 20 years later, yeah. It is certainly a classic.
20 years. You got to stop saying that, man.
Yeah, it's not depressing in the slightest.
Yeah, no, not at all. 20 years. Man, that was a high school. That was high school, David. That was Air Jordan, Snow. I didn't even think ice creams weren't even out around then. No.
No.
Wow. That's like season -5.
Is that how we're going to date things from now on? There's no like 2000 BC or anything like that. It'll be okay.
We have to do it that way. I think that's going to be the Otherz type of thing.
Man, I'm going to get fucking confused.
So am I. Yeah, what year was that? That was season 2. What season are we in?
But I think, like, looking at our lists here, I'm looking through some of the ones we've got listed to talk about. And it won't be very long until we're actually up until the early BBC stuff. So lots of BBC and ice cream stuff to come in a few weeks' time, I think.
We're going to cover everything.
Yeah, for sure.
I really feel like we're going to go down the route of production, videos, streetwear, sneakerwear, piano talk, keyboard talk. What kind of keyboard? What was the keyboard that he made that on? I think it was a Korg. It's the 01W. I think that was it. And he got a lot of his sounds and snares and kicks, and I think that's the sound harpsichord. I think it's called. I could be wrong. Clavier harpsichord is the sound on the Korg that gives you that, and they use that sound for a lot of other songs.
I'll leave you to look up these nerdy technical facts.
Yeah. I actually have that keyboard. It's on there. If I had access to it now, I would show you. But I hated that sound when it first came out. I grew to love it after a while. I thought it was very bad. What is this? You could have picked another sound. But today we know it as the classic Neptune sound. I think that they should make at least one more song with that sound on it.
I'd always think if I won an obscene amount of money on the Euro Millions lottery that they have here, and I was in a position whereby I could have a track produced for me, just for me, not that I would rap or sing on it, obviously, but just...
What would you call it?
I've not got that far thinking about it. But yeah, if I had like unlimited money and could have something produced like just for me that I know is just for me to listen to. It's not going to get released anywhere or anything like that. There would be like certain criteria that I would ask for, and obviously it would be produced by the Neptunes, but it would probably end up being an atrocious kind of thing because all of the classic sort of sounds all mashed together I don't think would work. But yeah, that sound you talk about would be on that list. It would be on that requirements list.
I'm not a fan of going back. I know a lot of people, they need to go back to this. They need to go. I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm really not a fan of that. Like, once it's done, move on. A lot of people sometimes like, oh, they need to go back. This just sucks. It's like, you know what? It was so good because that was a time for it. Who was to know that would survive till this day? It would among us. We love stuff like that, but, unfortunately, we're such a small population in the huge music world. It wouldn't mean much. So I'm not really a fan of that, but I totally agree with you. I would definitely want a track made for me with those sounds. That kick drum, the snare. I totally agree with that.
I would be interested to see how a sound like that would work with a modern artist.
Today?
Yeah, on a modern track. It would be arranged differently, and you would have different production processes and tools. And
which rapper would you like to see on that?
Oh,
if you had to get one of today.
I don't know who's big today. What do the kids listen to?
You know what? I don't think it could be one of these skirt rappers.
I think if you're gonna pick like a big name, I guess
Kendrick.
Kendrick obviously kills those Pharrell beats, and he'd kill any beat. So Kendrick would be one. But I'd be interested to see somebody like Drake, I guess, who can do the.
I was gonna say that.
Who can rhyme, but can also do a hook and can sing and vocalize, and I think that'd be quite interesting.
That would be pretty cool. It would set the world on fire, but people would be negative about it. Well, you put Drake on it. You can't be going back and getting old rappers, and I don't mean old as in like age old. Old as in today's. You can't go back and get them on the track. It just wouldn't work. I think those two would probably be the best, to be honest with you.
But even like you think like even like Eminem.
Oh, good one, man.
You think of like Eminem on a Superthug beat.
He would smash that
for sure.
Yo, Penny, that's actually also he would. Did Eminem did he work with the Neptunes? I don't think so.
No, not that I can think of. There was some Royce the 5'9" tracks back in the day, but I don't think M was on any, not that I can recall.
Yeah, that would be. I think he has a new album dropping too, Eminem.
Yeah, it's due out in a couple of weeks, I think, isn't it?
You ready for the N.E.R.D album?
It's pre-ordered. It's pre-ordered on every format that is humanly possible. I'm looking forward to it. I've spent a small I haven't bought any music in years. I have Apple Music. I just stream everything. I don't buy anything. But this is the first thing that I've bought in a long, long time. And yeah, I bought the Lemon single on some limited edition vinyl, which today I realised is being delivered to my old address. So I need to try and work that out somehow.
Oh no, you better do that after this.
And then the album itself I've ordered on vinyl, on CD. I've also paid for it digitally as well. So
yeah, we're gonna have to review that when that drops. I'm excited for it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I think, like we said in the last podcast, I've avoided it. I'm still avoiding it. Obviously, we've got the 2 songs out available now on Spotify and Apple Music and stuff that you can listen to. But yeah, it's only a few days away now.
Let me tell you, I'm going to listen to that. I always buy the CD. That's just something I do. Anything that comes out that I really like, I'm always going to buy the CD. Obviously, Apple Music and stuff like that, but I'm definitely going to get the vinyl because I still have a record player. Still have a turntable, so I'm definitely going to do that. I'm really excited about it. If you guys get the album, definitely put up. I'm gonna start a hashtag. I want to see everybody with their N.E.R.D gear, N.E.R.D sneakers, next to the album. 100%. That's gonna be huge.
Yeah, and we want some. I don't know when we'll review it. Like, it's probably a good idea to do it in a timely fashion. So maybe we'll drop it in somewhere in the coming weeks. But yeah, if people out there have got like comments and thoughts on certain songs and certain beats and stuff like that once it comes out and we've all listened to it, then
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, send us some messages and we'll include some of your comments and feedback on the album in the podcast as well.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I think the Otherz are ready for it. I think the world is ready for it. So I guess I'm really gonna listen to that, and I guess we'll talk about that in the future podcast. I'm ready for it, man.
Yeah, for sure. We'll fit it in somewhere.
So Superthug, I give it a thumbs up, man. Production, video, lyrics, everything. I think that is a thumbs up. Yeah, 100%.
It's a track that's like a track and a video that is all over the place. It's a weird one, but it's a great one. Yeah, when you kind of put all those things together and you look at the time and you look at the people involved and what it kind of led to. Yeah, it's got to be up there as a classic.
You know what? Out of 5 mics, was that a Source? Yeah, Source thing? 5 mics. I give it a 5, man. That song, 100%. That whole album, I give a 5. That was the first vinyl I ever bought.
Oh, really? The N.E.R.D album?
Yeah, because I had a lot of vinyl, but there was singles. But I remember that was the first actual vinyl that was an album that I bought. So it definitely means a lot, to be honest with you. So I'm giving it a 5.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4 to 5, I guess. Yeah.
Are there going to be any songs I'm going to give a 1 to? There's a couple of songs I don't like.
Yeah, I've got a couple on the list that I'm looking forward to bitching about a little bit.
Oh man, you know what song I cannot stand?
Go on, get out of the way now. Y'all
gonna kill me for this. Y'all gonna kill me for this.
Go on.
Yo, I hate the song "Beautiful."
Really?
Yo, I hate that song.
Oh, controversial.
I'm sorry. I hate that song.
I still bump that most days.
Oh my god. When I hear it, I want to jump out the window.
That bad?
Listen to me.
Hang on.
When I need y'all.
No, hold on. We're on like week 1, really. Beautiful is listed as week 6. So you got like 5 weeks to write some notes.
I'm gonna rip that apart.
And in 5 or 6 weeks' time, you can vent as much as you want, and we can get deep into that song.
Oh man.
Obviously, people are listening. They can't see your face. I can see your face, and you're not happy.
That one and Keep It Player.
Yeah.
Oh, yo, why was that even on the album? Like, who said? I'm not gonna talk about it much, but who was like, yo, you know what? We're gonna put this on the album. This is great. Why was that? Get that out. There was so many other like unreleased joints that could have been on the album. Keep It Player. It was like, wait, yo, keep this in the garbage. Like, what's going on?
I don't mind the beat of Keep It Player.
Ugh.
Yeah,
every time I listen to it, I think, am I high?
I know what you mean.
That was another one. I just did another one right there.
I'm not keeping count anymore. I'm just ignoring them. People on Instagram can count them, which people have been doing. So
they have been. Every time, I'm not gonna lie, when I heard that song, I definitely wanted to drop it like it was hot. Like, what is this?
I'll give you my one that I'm looking forward to bitching about. Which I think by the looks of this, we're on week 19, so we're a few months away yet. Hot and fun.
Penny, I'm stopping the podcast. I'll talk to you later.
No, man, I can't.
What about that don't you like? Okay, we wrote this for a purpose.
Can't be doing with it. I'll give you my one back. We're tangenting here, and
this is awesome.
We'll talk about this in a few months. But my one beef. Well, I've got a few beefs for that song, but my one main one is Nelly Furtado. Man, she fucking annoys me. Her face, her voice, just her persona, her in interviews. She has that weird thing where she has like a nervous laugh, and no matter what anyone says to her, she just laughs at it. You could say
I was like that with Gwen Stefani.
Yeah, you could say that there's a kid that's just been run over outside by a truck, and she'd be like,
"Yep." Yeah,
man, she fucking
Do you know? Sorry, I was reading I got a direct message coming in. Do you have one more that you really hated?
I'm just looking through the list here if there's any others that I can spot that I really don't
like. It's okay, Neptunes fans, to hate a Neptune song. Like people, I love everything. Like no, don't do that.
Oh yeah,
don't do that. I hate people when people do that.
There's no others on the list. I'm just trying to think if there's some actual ones. I'll get back to you with my other ones.
Definitely.
There are a few.
I have like 10 of them where I'm just like, I don't ever want to hear this ever again. But we'll talk about that another time.
And I'm just hoping that at no point this podcast actually gets back to Nelly Furtado and she wants to appear on here, because that would be...
Can you imagine?
That would be very awkward.
Yeah, that would be bad. I'd be like, what happened was...
I've re-listened to it since, and it's actually grown on me. And, yeah.
I used it for one of my... I had like my brother made like a Corvette demo, and that was the song he used. It was pretty dope, but that's crazy to hear that somebody really doesn't like that song, which is awesome, because I don't like Beautiful, so I guess I know I'm gonna get crucified for that one, but I really don't care.
Yeah, and that's only a few weeks away as well, so.
And that song is like deemed the number one most like
one of the most influential Neptunes tracks,
songs,
and the hook, and it's
everything,
iconic.
The video. Yeah,
mate,
I don't know.
You need to start writing your notes now, preparing your arguments.
100%. Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready for that.
We're gonna get into like a debate session.
Let's do it. Oof, this is gonna be great.
All right, well that's everything for Superthug. I think that's all of our weird and wonderful tangents. We'll wrap it up there because we are nearly hitting the 1 hour mark.
Let's do it, man. I'm another successful one in the books, Penny.
Yeah, man.
You're the man.
Another one in the can. Again, shout out everyone, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, that's been hitting us up. Keep sharing the podcasts. We're planning loads of stuff like behind the scenes at the moment, so there's lots of really good stuff to come. So yeah, just stick with us. And like we say, keep sending us the feedback, the comments, the suggestions. Thank you
so much.
Yeah, if you want to jump on here with us as well, we're like always more than happy to get other people involved. So yeah, just hit us up. You can find all of our social media stuff at Otherz Podcast. That's Otherz with a Z, because that's how the cool kids do it.
And if you're from New York, we say Otherz with a Z.
English, we say Z. But yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you want to drop us an email, there's also otherspodcast@gmail.com for now. There's also otherspodcast.com, where we will post the episodes to stream as well as the show notes. And there's a comment section there. Shout out whoever it was that left a comment for me earlier on, which I haven't replied to yet. So yeah, just get in touch any way you want. You can find me across all the usual social media platforms. I am Steve R. Penny. And David, where can people find you?
Man, it is King of Creams. CREAMZ. With a Z. Z like, there you go. Or the ice cream reference. I'm doing a lot of updates on that too. So that's Ice Creams with a Z, 101, both on Instagram. And obviously the Otherz podcast as well.
Great stuff. All right, well, that's it from us for this week. We will hopefully speak to you soon, everyone. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. Peace out.